The office of Hale and Associates Marketing buzzed with the usual Monday chaos. Ringing phones, clattering keyboards, and laughter that was never meant to be kind. Lena Brooks kept her head down as she stepped inside, clutching her worn laptop bag close to her chest. At 28, she had learned the art of moving through the world quietly, unnoticed. It was safer that way. But in this office, invisibility was a myth. "Watch out!" a sharp voice rang out. Lena stopped abruptly just as a stack of reports slammed into her shoulder. "Seriously, Lena?" Chloe Grant stood there with her perfectly manicured hands on her hips, glaring at her as if Lena had walked into the papers intentionally. "Do you not look where you're going?" I'm sorry," Lena stammered, bending down to gather the scattered pages. Mason Turner, Chloe's ever-loyal sidekick, appeared beside her with a mocking smile. "Careful, Brooks. One more accident and you'll be banned from walking upright in the building." Lena's cheeks flushed. She kept her eyes on the floor, collecting the pages as Chloe and Mason exchanged a knowing glance. "Pathetic," Chloe muttered, loud enough for Lena to hear. Jenna Lewis, the third member of the trio, stood by awkwardly. She didn't join in the cruelty, but she didn't stop it either. Her silence was a survival tactic. Better Lena than her. Lena returned the papers to Chloe with a forced smile. "Here." "Sorry again." Chloe snatched them from her hands. "Just try not to breathe in my direction, okay? Some of us have important clients to impress today." Mason snickered. Jenna looked away. Lena nodded and slipped away to her small cubicle in the back corner of the office. The day dragged on in a blur of snide comments and whispered laughter. Chloe and Mason had a way of making even the simplest interactions feel like traps. Lena had learned to work quickly and quietly, producing flawless reports no one ever credited her for. At noon, as she heated up leftover pasta in the office kitchen, she overheard Chloe's voice from around the corner. "Can you believe Brooks? She's been here 3 years and still dresses like she shops out of a bargain bin," Chloe said, her tone dripping with contempt. "It's embarrassing." Mason laughed. "Honestly, I don't know how Victoria hasn't fired her yet. She's dead weight. Victoria doesn't notice her. That's the problem," Chloe replied. "But trust me, one more mistake and she's gone." Lena's stomach twisted. She gripped the edge of the counter until her knuckles turned white. That afternoon, Victoria Hale, the company's impeccably dressed manager, called Lena into her office. Victoria didn't look up from her computer when Lena stepped inside. "Sit down." Lena obeyed, clutching her hands together. "I've been reviewing your quarterly metrics," Victoria said, her tone flat. "Your numbers are fine, but your presence in the office is lacking. Clients don't know who you are. Your colleagues don't find you approachable. That's a problem." I just focus on my work," Lena said softly. Victoria finally looked up, her sharp green eyes narrowing. "You need to do more than just work, Lena. This is a competitive environment. If you can't adapt, I'm not sure this is the right place for you." Lena felt the sting of tears but forced herself to nod. "I understand." "Good," Victoria said, dismissing her with a wave. "You can go." Back at her cubicle, Lena sank into her chair, the weight of Victoria's words crushing her chest. She was tired. Tired of the whispers. Tired of being invisible. Tired of letting people like Chloe and Mason define her worth. That night, when she got home to her small apartment, Lena sat in front of her bathroom mirror and studied her reflection. The woman staring back at her looked worn out, her hair pulled into a messy bun, her clothes plain and ill-fitting. "Is this who I am now?" she thought. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from Daniel Reed, one of the only people at the office who treated her with basic kindness. "Hey, you okay? Saw Chloe giving you a hard time again today." Lena stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, "I'm fine. Just tired." Daniel replied almost instantly, "Don't let them get to you. You're smarter than all of them combined." A small smile tugged at Lena's lips. Daniel always knew how to say the right thing. But she knew words alone wouldn't change anything. The next morning, Lena walked into the office as usual. Quiet, unassuming, careful not to draw attention. But inside, a decision was forming. She couldn't keep living like this. Something had to change. And if the people at Hale and Associates thought they could break her, they were about to find out how wrong they were. That weekend, Lena sat down with a blank notebook and wrote 2 words at the top of the page. Project Me. She listed every skill she wanted to sharpen, every area of her life she wanted to improve. Confidence, communication, style, leadership. She researched online courses in public speaking, signed up for a professional development workshop, and made an appointment with a stylist to help her choose clothes that actually fit and flattered her. For the first time in years, Lena felt a spark of excitement. This wasn't about impressing Chloe or winning Victoria's approval. This was about reclaiming her life. 2 months later, Hale and Associates buzzed with the same Monday chaos. But this time, when Lena Brooks walked through the doors, every head turned. Her posture was straight. Her hair, freshly cut and styled, framed her face perfectly. Her tailored navy dress exuded confidence, and the heels clicking against the floor echoed like a declaration. Chloe nearly dropped her coffee. Mason's jaw actually went slack. "Good morning," Lena said, her voice calm but commanding as she walked past their cubicles without breaking stride. For the first time ever, Chloe had no snide remark. 'Cause everyone could see it. Lena Brooks was not the same woman they had spent years bullying. And they had no idea what she was about to do next. The hum of the office shifted the moment Lena Brooks walked in. It wasn't just the tailored outfit or the polished confidence she carried. It was the silence that followed her footsteps. A silence laced with confusion and curiosity. Even the receptionist did a double-take as Lena offered a calm smile and strolled to her desk like she'd owned the space all along. From behind her monitor, Chloe Grant peered over, frowning. "What is going on?" she whispered to Mason Turner, nudging him. "Did Lena win the lottery or something?" Mason scoffed, but his eyes never left Lena. Either that or she got abducted by a fashion stylist. Chloe narrowed her eyes, unsettled. Lena hadn't just changed her appearance. She was carrying herself differently. Confident, self-assured, and worse, people were noticing. As Lena settled in, Daniel Reed walked by with a coffee in hand. He stopped when he saw her. "Whoa," he said, blinking. "You look, different." Lena smiled warmly. "Thanks, Daniel. How've you been?" He smiled back, genuinely impressed. "Busy as usual. But wow. Good to see you." A few feet away, Chloe watched the interaction like a hawk. She wasn't used to being upstaged, especially not by someone like Lena. During the morning meeting, Victoria Hale entered the conference room late, her heels clacking sharply across the floor. She glanced at the group and paused ever so slightly when her gaze landed on Lena. "Ms. Brooks," she said, raising an eyebrow. "You're looking professional today." Lena met her gaze calmly. "Thank you. I believe how we present ourselves sets the tone for how we're treated." There was a flicker of surprise on Victoria's face, followed by a faint nod. Chloe shifted in her seat, her lips pressed into a tight line. After the meeting, Lena returned to her desk and pulled out a file labeled Client Outreach Rebuild. It was a side project she'd been working on quietly for over a year, an overhaul of the firm's outdated customer engagement system. She had pitched it once before, but Victoria had brushed her off. This time would be different. She walked straight into Victoria's office without hesitation. "Do you have a minute?" Victoria glanced up from her screen. "If it's quick." Lena laid the file on her desk. "I've revised a proposal for our client communication strategy. I believe it could improve our retention rate by at least 20%. Victoria flipped through the pages, frowning as she skimmed. "You've done all this yourself?" Lena nodded. "Yes, on my own time. The last model was outdated, and I've identified a few inefficiencies. If you allow me to present it to the team, I think you'll see results." Victoria didn't answer right away. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled. "Schedule a presentation for Thursday. Let's see if you're right. Back at her desk, Lena felt her heart flutter. Not from fear but exhilaration. She had just done something she never would have dared months ago. And Victoria said yes. By the next day, word of Lena's transformation had spread. People stopped her in the hallway to compliment her outfit, to ask her thoughts on projects. Even Jenna Lewis, the quietest of Chloe's clique, stopped by Lena's desk during lunch. "Hey," Jenna said softly, nervously twisting a pen in her fingers. "I just wanted to say, you look great lately. And, I read your email about the outreach project. It's actually really smart." Lena smiled, caught off guard. "Thanks, Jenna. That means a lot." There was a flicker of something in Jenna's expression. Maybe guilt, maybe admiration. Before she walked away, she leaned in and whispered, "Don't let them get to you. People are finally seeing who you really are." Lena watched her go, stunned. But not everyone was ready to let go of the old Lena. In the break room, Chloe seethed. "She thinks one little makeover gives her a seat at the table," she snapped. "She's still the same awkward mess she always was." Mason, pouring coffee, shrugged. "Yeah, but she's got Victoria's attention now. And Daniel's. That presentation could put her on top." Chloe narrowed her eyes. "Not if I get there first." That evening, Lena stayed late preparing for her presentation. Flight, data, predictions, real-life case studies. She wanted every piece of her work to speak for itself. Daniel stopped by her desk before heading out. "Still at it?" She smiled. "You know me. I like to be over-prepared." He looked at her, genuinely impressed. "You're killing it, Lena. Don't let anyone slow you down." As he walked away, Lena whispered to herself, "I won't." But as she packed her laptop and headed to the elevator, she didn't see Chloe lingering behind the server room door. Eyes narrowed, wheels turning. And in her hands was a flash drive she wasn't supposed to have. The morning of the presentation dawned bright and clear, but Lena Brooks felt a storm brewing inside. She stood in front of her mirror, adjusting the collar of her tailored white blouse. It wasn't vanity, this was armor. Months ago, she would have walked into work hoping to go unnoticed. Now, she was walking in to be seen. And this time, her work would speak louder than Chloe Grant's whispers ever could. At Hale & Associates, the buzz around the office was palpable. Lena's upcoming presentation had become the day's main event. "Have you heard?" one junior associate whispered. "Victoria's actually giving Lena a shot at pitching her own strategy. That's unheard of." "Yeah," another replied. "It's about time someone shook things up." In the break room, Chloe leaned against the counter, sipping her almond milk latte with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "She's so sure she's going to impress Victoria," Chloe murmured to Mason Turner, who was scrolling his phone. Mason shrugged. "Honestly, she might. Her ideas are good." Chloe glared at him. "Whose side are you on?" Mason quickly backtracked. "Yours, obviously. But are you sure you want to do this?" Chloe's smile turned cold. By the time she clicks on her first slide, Lena Brooks will wish she'd never come back. She patted the flash drive in her purse, the one containing the virus she had slipped into Lena's laptop last night when Lena wasn't looking. At 2 p.m., the entire team filed into the conference room. Victoria Hale sat at the head of the table, sharp as ever, tapping a pen against her notepad. "Let's get started," she said. "Lena, the floor is yours." Lena nodded, exuding a calm confidence she didn't fully feel. She connected her laptop to the projector, and the first slide of her meticulously designed presentation illuminated the screen. "Thank you, Victoria," she began. "Today, I'm presenting a new client outreach strategy designed to increase retention and engagement by 20%. But just as she clicked to the next slide, the screen glitched. Then it went black. Whispers rippled through the room. "Oh," Mason muttered. Chloe sat back in her chair, feigning surprise as she watched Lena scramble. I don't understand," Lena said, frantically pressing keys. "It was working this morning. Do you need IT?" Victoria asked, her tone neutral but laced with impatience. Lena's heart raced. This was exactly what Chloe wanted, to make her look incompetent. Then, a voice cut through the murmurs. "Need a backup." Lena looked up to see Daniel Reed standing at the doorway with a flash drive in his hand. "I saw you working on this late last night," he said with a small smile. "I figured you might need an extra copy." Lena blinked, relief flooding through her. "Daniel, thank you." She plugged in the drive, and within seconds, her presentation was back on screen. Chloe's expression froze. Lena took a deep breath and pushed forward. Slide after slide, she spoke with clarity and authority, outlining her plan in a way that left no room for doubt. She showed charts demonstrating how their current system was bleeding clients, shared case studies from competitors who had embraced similar strategies, and laid out a step-by-step implementation plan. By the time she reached her conclusion, the room was silent. Lena looked around, meeting each person's gaze. "I believe this approach will position Hale and Associates as a leader in client engagement," she finished. "And I'm ready to lead the rollout if you'll let me." Victoria leaned back in her chair, clearly impressed. "That was exceptional," she said. "You've identified weaknesses I didn't even see. I want this implemented immediately." Lena's chest swelled with pride. "Thank you, Victoria. I won't let you down." As the room began to empty, Chloe stormed past Lena, her face tight with anger. "This isn't over," she hissed under her breath. Lena stood tall. "It is for me," she said calmly. "Because I'm done letting you define me." Later that afternoon, Victoria called Lena into her office. "I have to be honest," Victoria said. "You've surprised me. Your work has always been good, but today you proved you're capable of more than I realized. I'd like to promote you to lead the client engagement team." Lena's eyes widened. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Victoria said with a smile. "Yes," Lena said, her voice steady. "Absolutely yes." Back at her desk, Daniel appeared with a coffee. "You were amazing today," he said. Chloe didn't see that coming. Lena smiled. "She's not my problem anymore. I've got bigger things to focus on." Daniel hesitated, then added quietly, "Just be careful. Someone tried to sabotage you. You don't need me to tell you who." Lena's smile faded. She knew exactly who. And this time she wasn't going to let it slide. That evening, Lena stayed late in the office. She waited until the floor was empty, then quietly checked the IT logs. What she found made her blood run cold: an unauthorized access to her laptop the night before, from Chloe's login. Lena closed her laptop, her jaw set. She had the proof. And tomorrow, Chloe Grant's reign of intimidation was coming to an end. The next morning, Lena Brooks walked into Hale and Associates with the same quiet confidence as before. But this time she wasn't just carrying her laptop. She was carrying proof. As she strode to her desk, she could feel Chloe Grant's eyes burning into her back. Chloe was already whispering something to Mason Turner, both of them glancing her way. But Lena didn't flinch. Because today wasn't about appearances. It was about accountability. At 9 a.m., Lena knocked on Victoria Hale's office door. "Come in," Victoria called. Lena stepped inside and closed the door behind her. "Is something wrong?" Victoria asked, setting down her coffee. "Yes," Lena said, her voice steady. "I believe someone tried to sabotage my presentation yesterday. And I have proof." She placed a printed report on Victoria's desk, an IT log showing an unauthorized login to her laptop the night before the presentation. Victoria's expression hardened. "Whose login is this?" "Chloe Grant," Lena replied. Victoria leaned back, anger flashing in her eyes. "Are you certain?" "I double-checked the timestamp and device ID," Lena said. "It was Chloe. And this wasn't the first time. She's been undermining me for years, and I stayed quiet because I didn't want to cause trouble. But I can't stay quiet anymore." Victoria nodded slowly. "You did the right thing bringing this to me. I'll handle it." An hour later, the entire team was summoned to the conference room. Chloe and Mason whispered frantically as they sat down, but the nervous glances they exchanged spoke volumes. Victoria entered with Lena right behind her. She didn't bother sitting. "Yesterday," Victoria began, "we witnessed a presentation that has already begun reshaping this company's future. But what none of you know is that someone attempted to sabotage it." A murmur swept the room. Victoria held up the IT report. "This document shows that Chloe Grant accessed Lena Brooks' laptop without authorization the night before her presentation. Chloe, do you have an explanation?" Chloe's face drained of color. I was just checking something." "Don't," Victoria snapped. "You deliberately tried to ruin a colleague's work. That behavior is unacceptable and it ends now. Pack your things. You're terminated effective immediately." Chloe's jaw dropped. "You can't be serious." "I'm very serious," Victoria said coldly. "This company has no place for bullies." As security escorted Chloe out, Mason sat frozen in his chair. Victoria turned to the rest of the team. "Let this be a reminder. We succeed by supporting each other, not tearing each other down. Lena, would you like to say something?" Lena hesitated for a moment, then stood. "I just want to say thank you," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I spent years letting people treat me like I didn't matter. But I've learned that when you stay silent, you give bullies permission to keep going. I won't do that anymore. And I hope none of you will either." There was a pause. Then Jenna Lewis, the quietest of Chloe's former allies, started clapping. One by one, the rest of the team joined in. After the meeting, Daniel Reed approached Lena with a grin. "You were incredible," he said. "I've never seen anyone handle a situation like that with so much grace." Lena smiled, relief washing over her. "It wasn't easy. But it was necessary." Daniel nodded. "What's next for you?" "Well," Lena said thoughtfully, "I've got a team to lead now. And I want to make sure they never go through what I did." That afternoon, Victoria called Lena into her office once more. "You've shown remarkable strength these past few months," Victoria said. "Your leadership has inspired this entire team. That's why I'm promoting you again, this time to Director of Client Engagement." Lena blinked in shock. "Director?" "Yes," Victoria said with a smile. "You've earned it. And I want you to help shape the culture of this company moving forward." Lena felt tears prick her eyes, but she quickly blinked them away. "Thank you. I won't let you down." That evening, as the office emptied out, Lena sat alone at her desk for a moment, letting the quiet settle around her. She thought about the girl she had been just months ago. Timid, overlooked, constantly second-guessing herself. That girl would have never imagined this. But she wasn't that girl anymore. As she packed up her things, Jenna approached her hesitantly. "Hey," Jenna said softly. "I'm really sorry I didn't speak up before. Chloe scared me and I just went along with it. But you didn't deserve any of it." Lena smiled kindly. "Thank you for saying that. And for what it's worth, I can see you're different now too." Jenna's shoulders relaxed. "If you ever need help with your team, I'd love to work with you." "I'll keep that in mind," Lena said. Walking out of the building, Lena felt lighter than she had in years. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving. And for the first time, she believed the best was yet to come. But Lena didn't know that her biggest challenge was still ahead. Because someone outside Hale and Associates had been watching her transformation. And they were about to make her an offer that could change her life forever. A week after Chloe Grant was escorted out of Hale and Associates, the office had transformed. The tense whispers and toxic energy were gone. People collaborated freely. Meetings felt lighter. Even Victoria Hale seemed more approachable. And at the center of it all was Lena Brooks. The woman who had once been overlooked was now the Director of Client Engagement, leading projects with a clarity and confidence that inspired everyone around her. But Lena was about to face a decision that could change everything. On a Friday morning, she arrived at work to find an envelope on her desk. Inside was a sleek, embossed invitation. You are cordially invited to interview with Orion Global Consulting, a Fortune 500 company seeking top-level talent. Date, Monday. Location, Orion Tower, 10 a.m. Lena blinked, stunned. Orion Global was one of the most prestigious firms in the industry. They didn't reach out to people like her, but they had. Later that day, Lena met with Daniel Reed in the break room, the invitation clutched in her hand. "You're kidding," Daniel said when she showed it to him. "Orion Global. That's huge." "I know," Lena said softly. "But I don't know if I'm ready for something like this." Daniel smiled. "Lena, you're more than ready. I've watched you completely change your life. This is just the next step." "But I love it here," she admitted. "I finally feel like I'm making a difference." Daniel tilted his head. "And you could make an even bigger difference there." Lena sighed. "I just don't want to make the wrong choice." "You won't," Daniel said firmly. "Because you're leading with integrity now. Whatever you choose will be the right path." That weekend, Lena sat at her kitchen table with her notebook, the same one she had used months ago to write Project Me at the top of the page. She flipped through the old goals she had written. Confidence, communication, leadership. Every box was checked. But there was a new goal forming in her heart. To build a legacy. And she knew where she could do that. Monday morning, Lena walked into the shimmering glass towers of Orion Global Consulting. The lobby was grand, bustling with professionals in tailored suits. But Lena didn't feel small anymore. She felt like she belonged. The interview panel sat around a long, polished table. "Ms. Brooks," the lead interviewer said, "we've been following your work at Hale & Associates. Your initiatives have led to record client retention and a major shift in company culture. We'd like you to lead our new international outreach division." Lena's breath caught. "That's incredible." "It will be challenging," the interviewer continued. "But we believe you're exactly the kind of leader we need." Hours later, Lena walked out of Orion Tower with an offer letter in her hand and a heart full of gratitude. She called Victoria Hale first. "I wanted you to hear it from me," Lena said. "I've been offered a position at Orion Global." There was a pause. Then Victoria said, "I'm proud of you, Lena. Losing you will be difficult, but I know you're destined for great things. Thank you for everything you've done for us." "Thank you," Lena replied softly. On her final day at Hale & Associates, the team gathered around to celebrate her. Jenna Lewis hugged her tightly. "You showed all of us that we don't have to stay silent," Jenna whispered. Daniel handed her a small gift box. Inside was a silver bracelet engraved with 3 simple words. "Stand tall always." Lena's eyes watered. "Thank you," she said, "for believing in me." Daniel smiled. "You believed in yourself first. Don't forget that." A month later, Lena stood on the balcony of her new office at Orion Global, overlooking the city skyline. She thought about the journey, the humiliation, the bullying, the long nights wondering if she was enough. And she smiled. Because she had learned the most important lesson of her life. She had always been enough. That afternoon, Lena called a meeting with her new team. "Before we start," she said, "I want to tell you something. I've been where you are. I've been overlooked. I've been underestimated. And I've learned that the only limits we have are the ones we accept. I want this team to be different. I want us to lift each other up. Because when we do that, there's nothing we can't achieve." The room erupted in applause. As Lena left the office that evening, she walked past a young woman standing nervously by the elevator, clutching a portfolio. "First day?" Lena asked kindly. The woman nodded. "Yeah. I'm terrified." Lena smiled. "Don't be. You belong here. Trust me." And for the first time in her life, Lena Brooks truly believed those words. Because she wasn't just surviving anymore. She was leading. And her story had only just begun.